It's going to be about sex, libido, business, productivity, and wealth generation.
I'm interested to see or understand how all of that is related. Semen retention and then the method for ejaculation. So as a male, when you feel the orgasm approaching, you squeeze the end of your penis where the head joins the shaft.
Hey guys, welcome back to the PYL podcast. It's your boy Paul Otote.
And it's me, Yemi.
And today we've got a very, very exciting one for you. Before we get into that, Yemi, how's your week been?
I mean, the week was good. You know, we had New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I think New Year's Eve actually was one of my favourite crossovers that we've had, you know. It was a bit of a random one because I didn't have anything planned. Mm-hmm. But then one of my friends from church, she basically said that she's having a little get-together with people. And so I could invite my people, so I invited my peoples. Paul came up, Oj as well.
But it was dope.
It was good, man. Like a couple minutes before midnight, doing some praying, meditating, you know, getting yourself ready, and then going up to the rooftop or top of a block just before midnight. Yeah. And then seeing all the fireworks across the whole of London was mad. And then drinks to the walls the end of the night. So yeah, this week's been sick.
It was such a good. It's dope, man.
Yeah, and I just feel ready for
whatever
this
comes.
year because this year is gonna be mad. But I'm looking forward to it.
Let's get it.
How about yourself, bro?
Let's finish off. How about work-wise?
Work-wise, so I took New Year's Day off because that's my dad's birthday. But I basically worked every day, kind of thing. Yesterday was a good day. Basically putting a shift, just focusing on one thing. So this new website that we're launching. So hopefully this weekend we can launch it, start testing it, and then go from there. But yeah, good couple of days. I'm just more focused. I'm ready for this year now.
Would you say your biggest risk is the fact that you're focusing on one thing at a time, as opposed to?
Because well, that's the thing. Because because I know I need to learn how to do certain things like coding and whatever. And I basically was rushing myself to get on this boot camp, which is for free. And so in 2 weeks, because I only found out about it 2 weeks ago, I had to basically do all the prerequisites, which were around maybe about 300 lessons. Yeah, 300 lessons, which are task-based, as well as building up a website from scratch. And so I was doing all of it, but then it hit me on Tuesday or Wednesday. I was like, do I really need to be doing this? Is this the most important thing for one time? Because I don't want to be a software developer.
Exactly, yeah.
I just want to learn it. And I think by what I had learned, it was enough. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to apply, which is a risk for me because normally I might have FOMO.
Yeah, fear of missing out.
Exactly. But and with that, I had like 3 or 4 things I wanted to achieve this week or work on. But like you said, I've said, let me just narrow it down to one thing and kill that off. So yeah, that probably for me is the biggest risk, but I'm hoping that'll appear.
You know, in the 4-hour work week, it speaks about having to-do list. Yeah. But it also speaks about, towards the end anyway, having not to-do list.
Exactly.
Which is something, personally, I've never considered. It's like, you know what? These are the things I don't want to do. You know, we can focus on our strengths to some extent. And like little things like that, get someone who is the strength to do it. Do you know what I mean?
But my problem is that I always want to, round off my weaknesses. Yeah. And so I end up putting myself in a situation where I'm not particularly specialised, but well-rounded.
Diversified,
kind of
yeah,
diversified. Which
I'm not saying that's not, it's hard to say if that's a good or bad thing.
I don't even know, bro.
But listen, guys, let us know with the hashtag PYL podcast. But my personal opinion, I believe that that's a mistake a lot of us make.
What's that?
Rounding off our weaknesses as opposed to focusing on our strengths.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why we do that is we need to master in 2020 how to attract people with the opposite sets of skills to us, to deal with the parts that we're not good at. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a fear, and due to that fear, we want to do everything ourselves.
But I don't know, man, because I feel if I'm going to talk to because I don't like getting ripped off. So if I'm going to talk to somebody like, say, a marketing expert who's going to do some SEO stuff for me, I need to make sure I have some kind of basic knowledge before they fleece me. Bro, look at when you done the first MVP version of Dunglebook, what the website developer gave you.
But the problem is, not the problem is. The solution there is just finding someone who's good at that and letting them do it.
I agree with that, but I just feel there's the
Little extras in the beginning.
Nah, just like the context. If you have added value, if you have added context, then it makes sense. So, for example, with me working on ClickFunnels, because I'd done other stuff and even just raw like JavaScript and CSS, HTML stuff, then doing that became so much easier than say the first time when I tried to build a website on WordPress. But anyway, enough about me. Talk to me. How about you?
Me's been good. So I started my New Year's resolution, which I was very happy about.
What's your New Year's resolution?
So I feel like I feel like sometimes I've been subconsciously selfish in a sense where you might look at your friends on Snapchat and be like, oh, they went here, they didn't invite you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even if they did invite you, would you go? Yeah. And secondly, why don't you create something and invite them?
Yeah.
So one of the key things I'm trying to do that's different is create that. When I was younger, I used to do that all the time. I was like the glue between a lot of different groups. And as I got older, maybe I got more in my head. So I'm trying to bring back that youth element where here's something popping. What do you think? Do you want to roll?
Yeah.
So the first time this year I've done that so far was yesterday. 4 of us went to see Blue Story.
How was it?
Bruv.
Sick, yeah?
I might even give it like a 9.5, bro. If you're a guy that grew up in London, you would appreciate the film. Little nuances in the film you can really relate to. You know, little things like sitting at a bus stop and a car skids by. Like sitting at a bus stop on your phone and a car skids by.
Yeah.
You're like, if you're not from London and you didn't grow up in a certain era, you just wouldn't understand that. Like the little heart drop moment. Like, who's that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though you don't have to be affiliated to anything, you just have to be at a bus stop in the dark.
That's all it takes, bro.
That's all it takes.
Or even just sitting on the bus stop and you see 2 guys walking.
Even sitting on the bus and people come onto the bus.
Yeah.
People understand that. So that's, I guess, my biggest risk this week.
And Bentley buses, when anyone can just hop on.
Hop off, yeah. I never did that.
But yeah, that was
sips
the peak.
Sips. But
then Bentley buses were a peak. But
yeah, what I wanted
this risk then?
That was a risk. I actually put myself out. I know it's not a big risk per se, but I guess the biggest risk before that was on Monday.
Yeah.
Obviously, the new book we talked about on the last podcast. I was second guessing.
What's the name of the book, just in case?
This one, I changed the name again. So it's called Improve Your Health and Achieve Your Career Goals. So obviously we spoke about how being healthy helps you become a better person. Being a better person makes you be more optimal in the workplace or even in your entrepreneurial role.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to launch it on the 1st anymore because I was a little bit scared still. Like, I'll be frank. I was like, how is it going to be received? Is it ready? My website wasn't the best either. Like, I wanted to do like a video to explain the book more. But, you know, I was speaking to an ex-friend of mine. They were like, they sent me a video that I sent to them, which I use as motivation. And I was like, I say no more. I'm launching it. I read the copy. I put it out.
Send me that video, bro.
I've sent it to you before.
What video was it?
The one where there's bare notifications. On the
phone. That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then basically off the back of that, I was like, alright, cool. I put it out, and the book was very well received so far. A lot of people have got it. I got some good feedback, and I realized, you know what? If you wait for the right time, you probably put things off till the time passes. So you just kind of have to do something and gradually improve from there. So that's my biggest risk.
I agree with that. I think there's no such thing as
perfect
timing.
Yeah.
There may be ways in which you can optimize certain things, but you can only improve on something once you get out of your head.
Exactly. And in your head, everything's a lot worse than it is in reality.
Bro. You already forecasted to 2025.
Exactly.
You ain't even put it out there yet. Wow.
So guys, today I want to talk about a very different kind of topic, and it's something that's not really discussed. It's going to be about sex, libido, and business productivity and wealth generation.
I'm interested to see or understand how all of that
is related.
So
So purposely, I didn't give Yemi here the topic before today because I wanted to discuss it with him to understand it from a very logical point of view. So I'll speak about certain elements and I'll get your thoughts in it.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to get involved at home or as you're listening, just use the hashtag Pill Podcast. All right. So how is libido and business or wealth generation related? So I'm going to give a theoretical assumption and I'll get your thoughts in it.
Okay.
So higher sex drive,
Yeah.
being more charged, being more positive in a sense where you're confident in yourself or you can attract the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Would you say that same confidence is translated to being able to carry yourself well when you're surrounded by potential people in a networking environment, being able to hold a conversation, look people in the eye, that confidence of being able to attract somebody opposite sex-wise and being able to attract people in the meeting room or wherever it may be. And by that I mean, would you say that the confidence that gives you being able to attract one of the hardest things to get is applicable in any other areas of your life?
Yes, to a certain degree. I think if you're somebody who always gets girls, always gets guys, then you already, what's it called? You don't get rejected, for example. So for you going to a business event, if you go to talk to somebody, you already have the confidence to say that, you know what, the person's actually going to talk back to you. But in saying that, when it's the same sex, so for example, if it's a guy who always gets girls, but if they now are at a networking event, I need to talk to a senior executive that's a male, they might struggle because they haven't put themselves out there if everything comes inbound per se.
So let me backtrack. When I speak about attraction, I'm not necessarily talking about following through with it. So think of it more as magnetism. Charisma.
Oh, there's people with charisma.
Yeah. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
All that stuff is attractive, is what attracts you to people.
Yeah.
And would you say some of the successful people,
Yeah.
right, who are good with one, that same attraction, that magnetism is what is applied to other situations? And if so, during this podcast, we'll speak about like the base of that and where that kind of comes from.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So we're talking about
Charisma, magnetism, attraction. So by attraction, in school,
yeah,
there's always some people or someone that people just want to hang around.
Yeah.
What is it about them?
Yeah, so something, you can't explain it.
Yeah, you can't explain it.
Yeah.
How much can that be carried over to speaking to girls, for example, or women? Or how much can that be carried over by speaking to guys? You know, like they say James Bond, right? Guys want to be like him and the woman want to be with him. Right. I know this is. I'm just trying to articulate this in a way where the foundation of it is really understood. You with me so far?
I'm with you.
So yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree. I think something like charisma and magnetism, that definitely exists. Yeah, because you can see it in the workplace. But I feel they also have to be able to follow through, either with brains or
most definitely. It's like
just generally work ethic.
Like what you know, what you know, who you know will get you there, and what you know keeps you there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess the people who are successful, there's some people who understand the powers that they have within them, and they're able to apply it. And some people things come naturally to, and they sometimes can take it for granted. I guess the point I'm trying to say is there's different schools of thought. There's people who speak about stuff like the law of attraction, or attracting people to you, or attracting like for like. So how does one get charged up, right, to a certain level to attract these sort of people to you? And how does one attract you? Do you believe that we attract money to us?
What, man of abundance?
Yeah. If so, where does that all stem from?
I mean, the abundance thing.
Yeah, abundance, mindset, law of attraction, attracting the right people to you.
The first time I've heard about it was on that book/movie, The Secret. I haven't even finished it, but that's where they were talking about like everything that you want, like what you speak, come into reality. And I think even that is just applicable in the Bible, for example. Like your actions, your words has actions. Exactly. So I think, yeah, the charisma thing is quite interesting. But
it's very interesting. Don't get me wrong. There's outliers to this, and why I wanted to discuss it is there's a huge school of thought that talks about something called sexual transmutation.
Okay, what's that?
Sorry, cold by the way. It's a bit cold, isn't it?
Bro, it's freezing. You're the one that put up the thing.
I put it down to 20. I don't know. Because I see you doing this, bro.
It's all good. I manage.
But we can do some quick push-ups. So there's a whole school of thought that talks about something called semen retention.
Okay.
And
like
semen.
Semen. Okay.
Sperm.
Yeah.
And something called sexual transmutation.
Okay.
So I'll break down what semen retention is first.
Yeah.
Right? Semen retention is just the practice of not ejaculating.
Oh, just kegels.
No, Kegels is the tensing of the pelvic floor to strengthen your pelvic floor muscles.
To stop yourself from ejaculating.
That has a lot of other different benefits.
Okay.
The strength of your penis. I don't know if we're going to get banned for saying that. But semen retention is completely different. It's just actually not ejaculating.
So actually just mind over body.
So you can bring yourself towards climax.
Yeah.
You can even have something called a dry ejaculation.
Yeah.
Where you've trained yourself to be able to experience orgasm.
Yeah.
But without anything coming up.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
This all sounds new, but this is as old as like humankind. This goes back thousands and thousands of years.
What? Okay, yeah, keep going.
So, let's speak about semen retention. This is semen retention and why I want to talk about this, because I guess even if this podcast opens someone's eyes to a different school of thinking, it's done its job. So semen retention is, from my perspective, I like to think about things very logical.
Okay.
Very, very logical. If a mother today is having a baby,
yeah,
there's complications in the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And the body had to decide who survives. Who survives?
The mother.
The mother?
I'm just guessing.
Oh, okay, guessing. I was like, word?
I'm just guessing. All right, the baby, yeah.
If there was a choice,
yeah,
more often than not, the baby will survive.
Yeah.
And the mother will perish. Just how we're biologically wired is for survival. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
From a very logical perspective, what is needed to create life?
I don't know what's wrong with me today.
That's fine. It's one of our sponsors.
Oh my gosh.
Dribbling everywhere, we're talking about. But anyway.
Sorry, say that question again.
What, from a logical perspective, what is needed to create life or even maintain life?
Well, to start life, you need sperm, you need an egg.
So what's in the sperm?
DNA.
And what does DNA require? Like, what's the fuel for it?
For DNA?
Yeah, for sperm. What's the fuel? What keeps the sperm alive?
I feel like this is an easy question, but
let me. Yeah, you're overthinking. You're probably thinking about cosmic strands or something, or the universe. Let me help you out.
Go on.
There's some people in the world, right, that are very crazy.
Yeah.
So what they do, they use like semen on their face and stuff. It's like face mask.
Do you know? When I googled semen retention, it said semen retention hair. Like
yeah. So in one of my videos, I speak about how like ejaculation and hair loss and stuff like that, right? How some people with DHT sensitivity in their body, because they have DHT sensitivity, when they ejaculate, the body has to kind of like produce more semen, which kind of needs testosterone. So they produce more testosterone, which is converted to DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone or something like that. Mm-hmm. So because they do that more often, their sensitivity now blocks the sensitivity creates something called alpha reductase 5, something like that, which makes the hair follicles a bit smaller, basically into hair loss. So basically, semen retention, some people believe
can improve the hair. Interesting.
But that's going back. So, I forgot what I was speaking about.
You're saying about what the sperm needs to.
What the sperm needs. So, the reason why some of these people put it on their face, is because semen has a lot of nutrients in it.
Okay.
Basically, to create life, you need every nutrient that the body requires to create life.
Yeah.
Okay? And the schools of thought there is, and let me know if you disagree or agree, the schools of thought there is, your body will rather make your semen A1 in the hopes that you're going to impregnate somebody in the future or whenever that semen is created. That's the whole point, right? So your body will rather give the nutrients that should be going to you to that. This is a school of thought, by the way. They rather give the best of the best. Yeah, the best to that. So high in your B12, high in all your omegas or whatever, into this little fluid that needs to be given away. So the more you give that away, right, the more it takes from you. And some schools of thought, this is not really scientifically proven, is if you something called injeculate, a lot of people do a lot of crazy things.
Is that a thing? Injeculating?
Okay, I wouldn't say things are crazy. I think my notion and the whole point of pill is like, it helps people understand different schools of thought and apply things to their life. So injeculate helps redistribute these nutrients into the body, and some people say it goes directly to the brain.
Have you read the method for this?
Yeah, of course.
Have you tried it?
Nah, have I tried it? I think I have still. I actually have, but then some of these stuff can be dangerous if done wrong. A lot of things take practice.
Yeah, I'll say to our listeners, so semen retention and then the method for ejaculation. So as a male, when you feel the orgasm approaching, you squeeze the end of your penis where the head joins the shaft. Maintain that squeeze for a few seconds while the urge to ejaculate passes. Repeat as necessary with your fingers. Never heard of this before.
Cool. So I'm guessing a lot of our listeners wouldn't have either. And okay, cool. So I
think I know where you're going now, but keep going.
Okay, so this whole semen retention element. So let me speak about a few of what people report the benefits to be. Okay. Mm-hmm. So one of the benefits is more confidence and self-control.
Yeah,
that's a mental benefit. Less anxiety and depression, increased motivation, better memory, concentration, and overall cognitive function. From physical perspective, greater vitality, increased muscle growth. Semen conservation, sexual continence, so being able to actually perform. And there's other schools of thoughts that this kind of goes in line with, such as tantric sex and Taoism.
Question. So what's the difference between this and getting blue balls then?
Blue balls?
Blue balls, yeah.
Maybe blue balls is the same thing. I'm not entirely sure. So there's like the school that's called NoFap. Yeah. Which is NoFap is like a company. It's not really this semen retention. And the next step we'll talk about sexual transmutation. But NoFap and getting blue balls, that's like you're horny, but you don't know what to do with that energy.
But then, okay, wait. So maybe it's just used in a different way. So for example, if like people having sex and then just before, and it's like pull out game strong. So that's basically ejaculating. If you decide not to ejaculate whatsoever, just hold it in.
There's no rule that says you should ejaculate every time you have sex.
Yeah, it's true.
There's some people that practice doing it once a week, have sex as much as possible, and what that actually does, believe it or not, from what I've read, it increases how long you can go for.
What, having sex without ejaculating?
And sometimes it actually relieves the pressure.
I mean, that does make sense though.
But yeah, let's go back. Yeah, I like how, because I'm a very logical person, and sometimes I know the people listening to this podcast are free thinkers. So even though you might disagree, you're able to
see where it goes.
Think about it. So let's go back to the original question about libido and business or confidence. So the next step of understanding semen retention and business or confidence is something called sexual transmutation.
Talk to me. What's that?
So sexual transmutation was made popular by, I wouldn't say it was made popular by him, but because of it being in a guy called Napoleon Hill's book, a lot of people started speaking about it. And sexual transmutation is the energy you feel, right? Whether it's the horniness, or if you think about like sexual expression, that is where people take the biggest risk ever.
What do you mean by risk?
Some people will put their stuff in anything.
Oh, okay. Like their sheeps and goats or whatever.
They'll risk losing their kids.
Yeah.
Bare stuff. Some people get creative. Like Victoria's Secrets I think it was started to impress a girl.
Yeah.
But that's where they say in this book it says, without sexual transmutation, there'll be no genius.
Interesting.
So I haven't found yet how to go around with this sexual transmutation.
So then when we're talking about sexual transmutation, are we talking about the feeling, that urge? Urge,
yeah. So, but not using that to express it that way. Using that
transform it to express it elsewhere.
Exactly. So,
interesting.
What attracts the opposite sex? From a man's perspective, it's the confidence, it's the charisma. So testosterone, but that leads to you speaking a certain way, you going above and beyond. Okay. They say people who naturally are charismatic tend to be also highly sexed. Not having sex, but sexed as in like their sex drive or they're like their hormones. How they use that energy is different. Like there's no such drive or focus that comes from, you know what, I'm gonna achieve this goal too. Amy's looking at me like
no, because I'm thinking that last sentence. Because are we saying like, so it's again abundance? So as in charismatic people, they don't have to chase after sex. Essentially, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
they can use that chasing.
No, they can use that chasing some way. That burning desire is what they call it.
That burning desire is transformed elsewhere
to something else. So the point I'm trying to say is, okay, we found some of the benefits of semen retention and what they say, like whether it's the confidence. Can that need to express be applied to other areas of your life? And if so, let's speak about certain ways that can help and what cures libido. So, with animals, dogs, bulls, cut off their balls, what do they become like?
Thoroughbreds. Is that the word what they call them? Like,
what's their characteristics?
They become docile. No, sorry, not thoroughbred. Ignore that. They become docile. So they say that when it's like the horses, like wild horses, they want to cut them down, or dogs especially. Yeah.
Think about that. They become docile. The confidence goes, right? So what's the opposite of that in a sense?
Content. Content.
So okay, let me backtrack.
Oh, go on.
I know. Sorry, guys. I speak a lot in parables, but this is if you get what I'm trying to say, it's interesting. So look,
this is sick.
If you cut off a man's balls,
he
becomes docile.
Yeah.
So where does the confidence come from?
It's innate then. Oh, right? You're saying that it comes from their balls?
I'm not saying it comes from their balls, but how is sex then related to aggressiveness? How is it then related to confidence? How is it then related to being aggressive? Not aggressive, but like wanting to get something. So a dog could be barking, like, give me this, give me that, let me go for a walk. Cut off the balls, testosterone goes, certain hormones go. Then they just become like this, like a lamb, in a sense. Do you get what I mean? So what energy is coming from being highly sexed, or the sex organs that are able to allow you to do certain things? I'm not saying it's completely correct, but it's a school of thought that I want us all to think about today on this podcast.
So let me just
then we'll have some conclusions towards the end.
So let me get this right. So we're saying that, well, one of the schools of thought is that your confidence comes from your sexual organs.
Yeah, kind of.
And
sexual energy.
Your sexual energy. But then what I don't understand is what determines how that sexual energy is used, between using it in a positive way, like around your, like being charismatic, having confidence, versus being a serial rapist. Like, what determines that? Exactly.
So like, there's certain people in the world that have very similar charismatics. Not charismatics, or characteristics, sorry. We have someone like Jim Jones. You know, the real Jim Jones, the guy that everyone drank the Kool-Aid in America.
Oh, that guy. Oh my God. Yeah.
But that level of skill and charisma might be the same level of skill that someone like, I don't know, Tony Robbins has.
But then even with him, if we talk about the Jim Jones example, like, so are you saying that, before I make that conclusion, are you saying that his charisma is based on his sexual energy? Because his sexual energy was also used to like have sex with multiple women out there.
So it doesn't. The conclusion of this is not mean that you shouldn't have sex, right? Is not everybody is born with the same set of skills. And if you want to learn how to actually materialize certain skills, you need to learn a bit more about yourself and how you work, right? And how you can use that same energy to achieve your goals. I'll touch on a bit in a bit more. So like, why I didn't want you to research the topic beforehand is I wanted to find out from yourself, do you notice any particular changes in yourself in terms of like confidence or self-esteem when you have low libido? Is anything correlate?
I've never paid attention to it like that.
Okay, during any of your low periods, right, have you ever thought, right, like I just want to do something right now, if you get what I mean? Or does it all kind of shut down together?
Doesn't shut down.
What happens?
It's either I might have the urge, it depends if I act on it or not.
But when you're feeling low, I mean. By low, I mean, it's like, you know, everyone has ups and downs. Some days you're completely charged up, you can tackle the world. Some days you're not. So my question is, even if you don't notice, do you reckon from an estimate point of view that anything changes in terms of how you feel about sexual energy or expression?
It's good. No, it's a good question.
You guys can answer this on following the hashtag as well.
So when I feel low, well, I guess when I feel low, then it's not just like sex. It's like I can't be able to do anything. You know,
isn't that mad though?
But then I think that's just like being depressed though.
Exactly. So I don't know. Like I'm trying to logicalize a lot of these thoughts, right? And make correlations that may or may not be there. So when one thing shuts down, other things shut down. When one thing goes up, how do I get gassed up by that to use it here?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So with sexual transmutation, it's more of an internal thing, using that same desire to express. And especially for our listeners that are young, instead of using that energy to chase men or to chase women, or if you want to chase the same sex, how can you use that same attraction to attract what you want into your life?
Okay.
So if we know that when libido is low, certain level of confidence is low, what kills libido? So we should talk about that. So that's the next thing. We'll speak about what kills libido and some herbs to help boost libido. And then we can kind of like drop some tips.
Okay, now I understand the link now. I was lost.
Okay.
So you're... Okay. So you're saying that the trigger point... So is it you're having a low libido can affect your mood, or your mood can affect your libido?
Yes.
What's first?
Either or, to be fair. It's like a cycle. So one can affect the other. So more higher your libido, the more your sex drive or your sexual energy, the more you feel confident, the more you can, you know, like the more you, some people you just look at them, like they step into the room and there's something about them. Their magnetism is just different. Their charisma is just different. So these schools of thought is more to do with how the average person can access that energy.
And how do you describe libido? Because
libido is just like...
Because I would just describe it as like sex drive.
Sex drive. Sexual energy, sex drive. They need to express.
But then I'd like to think myself, I'm confident. But I wouldn't say I have like a mad high of libido.
Yeah, but it's not like you're high, like you want to hump a dog or hump a cushion. It's the innate feeling within you to know that you can. Like you're somebody, you're confident.
But where does that come from though?
That's what I'm saying. For the average person, it's like, we need to understand it from a backwards perspective. There's two main things that drive us all in some extent, right? The need to survive, the need to procreate, something like that, right? And a lot of decisions can be put down to one of those things, whether it's like the need to be the leader in your tribe or the need to have, you know, like peacocking and stuff like that. So we know the end goal is X.
Yeah.
How can we use that innate drive within us?
In the right places.
In the right place. There's nothing wrong with that way. Don't get me wrong, because when you start making your millies, certain things are going to come more to you. But I wanted to just have that discussion here. So it's not, this podcast episode is not conclusive saying, hey, go do this, go do that. But
it's interesting.
It starts the train of thought. So like, I learned this a while ago, bro.
Yeah.
A while ago. And it's been very impactful. And a lot of people who are a lot smarter than us have practiced it. Do you know what I mean? Throughout history. Boxers, what do boxers do before, like, you know what I mean? Why?
Yeah, there's a reason for it.
Athletes, bodybuilders practice this. What is it about being hungry for certain things that increases your hunger? And focus. Minimizing distractions, you're more goal orientated. Why is it that immediately an urge comes over some of us? We don't control that urge. We act on it. And then now in this day and age, you can act on it quick. Yeah. Browser, www, or even I don't know what these apps people use.
I remember what you were saying back in the day, like the link between porn, instant gratification, and then your mood and all the rest of it. And
potential suicide and stuff.
That I agree. That makes sense as well.
Because you got to understand, like, we are who we are. Yeah. We are wired a certain way, but not everyone is wired the same way.
But even the way we're wired is based on certain things as well.
Yeah, how we grew up, nurture and nature.
Because I've never like think about it. I've never actually thought about like what is my libido? Like how do I measure my libido? How do I measure my confidence? Is there a correlation between the two things? I've never noticed that before.
But sometimes you will.
No.
When you feel, you know, like what gets released during expression, yeah? That confidence. Like imagine you do, let's say you're with your wife, right? Soon to be. And certain things happen and it's a good day between you two. How do you feel after?
Feel good.
You feel like you can tackle anything. There's certain feelings that are just innate within us, like the whole elements of power posing. You know about power posing?
Well, standing tall.
Yeah. All that stuff. Yeah. There's certain things certain things that are innate within us that some of us don't understand yet on how to capitalize off that.
Capitalize. Both of us are struggling today.
so like, cool. So what kills libido?
Yeah, talk to me. Yeah, because are you gonna do what kills and what helps?
Yeah. Come on, so banging this.
Let me guess what kills libido. Ooh, too much alcohol.
That's one. Therefore.
I mean.
So libido element, and by the way, everything we're speaking about so far is male and female.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not talking about erectile dysfunction though. We're just talking about libido.
Erectile dysfunction can be a symptom.
Libido as well.
It could be a symptom of libido.
Yeah, it's like a cycle as well.
Yeah,
right?
and you know the mind.
Yeah.
The mind and everything is linked.
Okay. Okay, so we got alcohol, drugs, obviously. Work.
Stress.
Stress
is like the worst.
Stress is the biggest.
Think about when you're stressed. Yeah. You better go
on. I'd say money, but money's linked to stress.
Yeah.
Poor people still have their sex.
Say again?
I said poor people still have lots of sex, so I don't think it's money per se.
Yeah.
Happiness, like depression.
Happiness. One key thing is sleep.
Sleep.
So there's like two hormones that are imperative. So your testosterone, your cortisol, keeping cortisol low. Testosterone, human growth hormone, and these are optimized during sleep. If your body doesn't have time to repair, it's peck.
What's cortisol again?
Cortisol is your stress hormone. So when you have a response to stress, your body releases cortisol to ignite your fight or flight. Last thing is other things like vitamin D, not getting enough sun.
But us as black people, it's difficult for us.
Yeah, but we should still get sun.
No, in winter. But even like living in the UK. So I remember going to the GP, and they were saying that my vitamin D is mad low.
Swear. You should get a tablet, man.
I took the tablets, but then my brother, he said that it doesn't really work.
You need to get the right tablet.
The D3 ones.
Yeah, vitamin D3, and they should have some research on the absorption levels.
I'll send you a picture.
Get the one that I put in my the 5T newsletter.
Okay.
Grab it, because I can't lie to you. I had that. Next day, different.
I agree.
I don't always feel stuff because I'm naturally always feeling good. But at this point, trust me, vitamin D3, but it's expensive. If you get this in Asda, the little ones in the little pill, it's a dead thing.
Yeah, my ones are like, my ones are strong, they're like 1,000 mg or more.
Yeah, the higher the mg, the less likely it's gonna be absorbed well. It's just numbers.
I thought that was the potency. No?
Yeah, but if your body requires X amount, why is it 1,000 or 2,000 mg? They know fully well the absorption rate is low. That's just a theory of mine anyway.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
All right. So now we have a good understanding. We need to understand how to keep ourselves from stress. So those who have higher charisma, what stresses them out? Or when do you see them stressed?
When they get rejected.
No, but this is actually a serious question. Guys that you know...
I'm being serious.
No, sorry. I wasn't trying to patronize. Guys that you know that are like highly charismatic and like active, bar anger, yeah? If you throw a problem at them, how do they cope with it? Do they cope with it well or not? So,
no problem.
Yeah, so what's their natural responses to stresses? Do they overreact or they
Oh, they take it on the chin. They keep moving with it like it is what it is.
So, I know these are all leading questions. The point I'm trying to say is responses to stress, how you think about stress, impacts how your body internally reacts to the stresses.
Yeah, I agree.
And what your body chemicals release, the neurotransmitters that are firing. And the point that is, if you haven't got a coping mechanism for stresses, being that in this day and age, a lot of stresses will come. A lot of guys who listen to this podcast or watch it will have things that they're doing, whether it's like business. Stresses will come consistently. How do we cope with it and how do we react?
Good question. I think working out definitely is something that's important.
Love that.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it at the last episode, but when I got stressed, I think about time being my limiting factor, and if I have more time, then I can do what I need to do, and therefore feel less stressed. When in reality, it's about using your time more effectively, such as working out, and then I'll be able to be more effective in the time that I do have. So working out definitely the big one. I would even say talking to people and even acknowledging that you're feeling a certain way.
There's chemicals that get released from convos like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, I think every single person should understand a little bit more about how to deal with stress and stresses, and then have some plans.
Even to identify it, you know.
Yeah, a lot of times we don't know what stress.
We don't know what stress.
Some symptoms to look for: inability to sleep, inability to focus, tired, lethargic, being quicker to anger. Yeah. You know, we spoke about this actually last time. Yeah. So guys, go listen to the last one. You know what I mean? Go listen to the last one if you haven't.
As well.
Like breaking out.
Spots, eating habits.
Yeah.
And it's funny you say that because it's all linked. Like, I would love to see like a correlation between stress and time, because I feel, again, another thing when I say about food is that we think we have less time, so we eat dead, and that just makes it even worse. So how do we change or break that cycle?
That's what mine tried to do with the book. It's just the logic that we tell ourselves, or the dreams that we tell ourselves, is so backwards. Yeah. I think the quote is, it's not how many hours you do, it's what you do in those hours that count. Like, so it's not like, I need to be busy, but listen, what are you busy doing?
Exactly.
And what's important? Yeah. So that's why we need to change the mindset from a backwards logic. Like, no, I'm not busy for the sake of being busy. They call it work to works.
Work for work's sake.
Yeah, that's a dead thing, my G. Don't do that. Don't do it.
Because like I said, like, if you think about how many hours in a day that you work, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah, the rest of it's on Instagram.
Just either Instagram, or you're walking around the office, chatting to people.
Or emailing.
Emails.
That's why I think I'll be good if I had a job, bro. Because the way I'll be doing my own work at work, mate, I'll be in there for like an hour, whack it out quick things, because that's what they expect. And then I'll just do my own thing. You know what I mean? But I want to add this in from now. When I speak about high sex drive, I'm not speaking about high sex drive like you're sexually charged to go out and do everything with everybody. I'm speaking about being highly sexed, like the energy, the charisma, you know, the ability to know that you can if you want to, but you know what, that's not my avenue. This is my avenue. Anyway, cool. So we know what kills libido now, and some little tricks. And if you haven't listened to the podcast before, you should definitely do that. So, how to boost
libido?
Yeah. So boosting is just the opposite of what we spoke about just now, right? Yeah.
Yep, yo. So,
sorry guys.
What's happened in the last hour or how long?
Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulties, unfortunately.
My computer decided to die.
Yeah, and the sound wasn't recording well. But that's not a problem. We're back now, and we want to really wrap this up and I guess give you some gems to take away for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we were speaking about how to boost libido. We spoke about, having methods of de-stressing. If you guys go back to the second podcast, those breathing exercises, that will help. So if you can tackle stress, you can boost your libido. And other things, so herbs can help.
What kind of herbs?
So herbs like adaptogen herbs, so herbs that help the body adapt to stress, but also herbs that help the body's own chemical balances. Such stuff like horny goat weed, some stuff like
great name for what we're talking about.
Yeah, I always use it first because it sets the tone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Horny goat weed, ashwagandha, maca powder.
Are these things that you take every day, or is it like once a week, or how?
Do you know what's crazy? I don't like to talk about dose because I feel like with herbs, right? Herbs, if anybody speaks about dose, it's a sign that they may not fully understand what they're talking about, right?
No, but it's always recommended servings, though.
But there's so much variety in terms of where a plant is grown.
Yeah.
There's so much variety. There's so much other varieties that can come into it where, okay, what's that person's weight? How tall are they? Do you know? What sensitivity do they have to certain things? So I feel like with herbs, the important thing is just to start small.
Okay.
You start small and you add one herb to your diet at a time to see if you react adversely or positively. Do you see any positive changes? Then over time, you can gradually keep increasing it. That's just a gradual rule of herbs, do you know? And if you have an adverse reaction, if you eat 4 herbs at a time, how do you know which one? That's why you have to add one to your diet at a time.
Yes. Right.
Do you know what I mean? And you start small and gradually increase in the dosage. So you might start with half a teaspoon and then go from there. And I think that's just like one of the general rules about it. So I'm speaking about these herbs, but you might just use one every couple of days.
And see how it goes, yeah.
Then after a while, you can get like me, where I use like 3-4 in a serving. But it's taken me a while to build it up. I'm not saying I could have done that from day one, but you have to understand that different people react differently.
I think the one thing which you do, which is quite good actually, is that you have a good, like, you have self-awareness. People are good with their self-awareness about emotions, but not necessarily their body. You have that, which is quite good. And I think by adding little things and taking things out of your diet and paying attention to your body, then you build upon that self-awareness. Yeah. I think that's it.
That's key. And that's how you start knowing when stuff is wrong.
Exactly.
And then that's how you start knowing if there's any libido issues, confidence issues, and how to go about rectifying that, which I think is key. So those are some herbs to look into: ashwagandha, maca powder, ginkgo, honey goat weed. What else is there? What I say? Haritaki. Haritaki is alright because that helps with nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is key. Those are good herbs to start with.
Yeah.
And especially
start package.
Precisely. Brain food. I think meditation is something that allows connections to be made in the brain. And that's why I think the Kwaku episode, I think that was episode 2 or 1.5.
1.5, 0.5.
So
early days.
Early days. I think that's why that is so important. So boosting libido, increase your sleep. And I think putting yourself in uncomfortable situations also boost your drive. So when I read the 4-hour work week, for example, I definitely did try to do some of his what they call task and actions, Q&A, questions and actions, I think they're called. And one of them was the eye contact element, maintaining eye contact with somebody for a period of time. That does something to you because charismatic people do one or two things. One is they either don't look at you in the eye because it's a power thing, or they maintain eye contact consistently. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So there's something that you trying to start.
I'm saying this, I just looking directly in my eyes.
Nah, come on, fam.
Yeah.
Because we both read the same book. That's what we both do the same thing.
I think that book's funny though.
No, you recommended it to me actually.
It's a good book. But when he said that, lie down in the middle of a club.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Bro. That's wild.
But I can understand why you would do it. Yeah. But yeah, that's not me, fam. Man, OG. So guys, I hope that's helpful. 5 tips to boost libido. So first, I think introspection. Understand where you are right now. Understand what your motivations are. So when I said that quote before, if you change what controls you, you can change what you can control. Understand what is pulling you, right? What's pulling you?
In general?
Yeah, what's motivating you now? Is it success? Is it the need to belong? What's that?
What, in life?
Yeah.
Probably just delivering value, like making...
Love that.
It's like helping other people step up, and at the same time me stepping up with it, you know. Is your thing recorded?
It is, yeah.
Okay, cool.
check it. Yeah, but understanding that introspection is cool, being able to analyze yourself, and then put in some sort of a step-by-step plan in order how you're going to use this new charge you have, this positive charge. This positive is like you're now like a magnet in some sense. That's like the how some of them might describe it. You're like a positive magnet, and you want to attract. How you're going to use that energy within you now in the real world, and that is the real life application that has to come with it. And a lot of skills are learned, whether it's to talk to people, whether it's being confident. Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You know, you fake confidence for so long, you think you are confident.
Yeah.
The brain is weird; it doesn't distinguish between what is jokes and what is true, or the subconscious mind. They say so. You can't joke and say I'm broke, but
the brain will be like, oh,
is that how you feel?
Like
Say no more.
No money for you.
You know what I mean? Because I joke and say I'm rich, bro. I tell people that's not my name, but for some weird reason they keep calling me rich. I didn't get no accolades for that one. I can't lie. It's not my bar still. It's a guy called G Fresh. I can't even take it on. So the last two things we'll say, if you want to drop any things that you've thought about.
Well, I think, especially because this is like the start of the new year, and a lot of people are making resolutions, especially around like journaling. So I think this one probably links back to the first one about introspection. So how do you basically take note of how you're feeling on a certain day? So for example, when you wake up, how are you feeling confident? Do you feel you can take over the world? And then just before you sleep, how do you feel again? What has happened during that day? And if you can write that down, then over like, say, even if you do it for 7 days, then over 7 days you can actually see, okay, I feel like this when I woke up, I feel like this when I slept. This happened during the day, this what
you can understand certain reasons why.
Exactly. Because now that I think about it, the whole concept, or no, not concept, but connection between libido, confidence, sex, injeculation, all of that is mind-blowing, yeah. So it's something that I need to look into myself. But it makes so much sense as well, like that innate drive. Some people have it, some people don't. And I wonder, if you don't have that drive, is it because you're not looking the right way? Yeah. How do you create it? How do you find out what is the thing that's going to push you?
It's imperative. So guys, I hope that's been helpful to end off. One more?
Yeah.
I think the last one is the better you do on the outside, is better you feel on the inside. And the better you feel on the inside is to do with how you feel about yourself. So get your ass to the gym. I keep it 1,000, bro. Think about the people you're speaking about. Like anybody that comes to mind, charisma or magnetism. They're fit, bro. They're fit. Like some of the smartest people in the world do things. Like I used to look up to 50 Cent at a point. Active.
Yeah.
You look good. You're confident, bro. When I'm the most active, anyone. I've you guys have watched this podcast over the past 3 episodes, video-wise. My face has gone leaner. I've lost weight. I perform the most optimal when I'm like this. Weirdly enough, people won't notice the difference, but I do. It's like my face is thinner, so I feel like, alright, cool. I'm more sleek. I'm more limber. I'm more got a bounce to me, so my confidence peaks a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very weird. You know, it's like, cool. Look after yourself. Get out to the gym, jog, lift weights, do yoga, whatever. Just do something to be the best you. 110%. That will change your life, bro. If not anything else, how you feel about yourself will impact how others treat you.
That's true. Self-worth.
Value. With that being said, we're going to do a quick word association.
So wait, let's do hesitation this time.
What does that mean?
So,
can't just keep changing the format.
No, last 3, mate, I've been losing, so this time I want to.
Oh, you want to make it? That's
so
cool.
Categories, yeah.
Yeah, let me drink some of this from our sponsors. Yes, thank God.
All right, I'm picking the category, yeah? All right, let's choose
What's hesitation, by the way?
So we have a category.
Yeah.
And then we can't. So if I say cities in Africa, cities in Africa or countries in Africa.
Oh, okay.
Then you have to choose that one. Like that.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna lose. Believe in yourself, kid. All right.
Just believe in yourself. All right.
I'm gonna say cities in Europe. All right. Cities in Europe. London.
Belgium.
Paris.
Manchester.
Boulogne.
Birmingham.
Bristol.
Liverpool.
Nottingham.
Trent.
Reykjavik.
Trent.
Yes. All right.
Alright, cool.
Cool.
Luckily for us, we didn't say what the forfeit is, so we can just move on.
No, this one I say.
No, you can't say the forfeit before.
It's always after.
Nah, what?
It's always after.
No.
Listen to that.
Nah, last time we said, look, the forfeit is... Oh, okay, cool, whatever. Tell me the forfeit.
50 press-ups.
Now.
That's what I had to do.
Alright, cool, I did. After.
Alright, cool. Alright then.
Guys.
Thank you very much. I hope you learned a lot. Sorry for the... But we need to decide what we're going to do about the
sound element.
Nah,
we'll put it out, but look,
apologies in advance.
I really hope it's still beneficial. At least you can hear some parts of it hope you can. At least you can hear some parts of it.
You can hear Paul. That's what's important.
Nah, and you can hear Yemi, but it's a bit more muffled. But it's fine.
Yeah. All right, my guys. Take care, and see you guys soon.
See you guys soon.